Dzień dobry, everyone.
Dzień dobry. We have an amazing buy me a coffee suggestion. I wanted to read the comment regarding Katyn. It wasn't just the Russian government that hid it, but also the British government, which sold Poland to ZSSR at Yalka. And as you have noticed, such things still happen in this world. So it's giving me a link to a website. It's an interactive cemetery website with memory of exhumation that they may have taken. So we're going to enter the website. I don't know what we're getting into, but I believe there's some interesting stuff going on here. You click here and look at that guy. It's like a game or something. And then you click, follow the track of the crime.
In April and May of 1940, by a decision of the highest authorities in the Soviet Union, nearly 22,000 Polish citizens were murdered. Prisoners of war from camps in Kozelsk, Starobielsk, Ostashkov, and prisoners. The victims of the crime were transported to several execution sites, annihilated and buried in forests nearby. Their bodies were found in mass graves in Katyn, Kharkiv, Mednoia, and Bykivnia. To this day, we still do not know the identities of all the victims. Some of them most likely rest in Kuropatyn.
I've never heard of
the others in unknown, nameless graves. Follow in the footprints of the crime. Listen to the voices of the victims. Light a candle of remembrance.
I think maybe because there was so much Russian influence after the war, nobody knew about that. And then it's only in the last 30 years maybe.
It was in the Katyn
knew.
forest that the first bodies of the victims were discovered in 1943. The graves of the Polish prisoners of war from Kozelsk became a symbol of the whole crime. The Katyn cemeteries are not only places where the dead are commemorated, they are also a testament to Poland's national remembrance and the struggle for truth. Their composition, architecture, and space create a symbolic narrative.
Click on the object. It's like a game. What is that thing? Go ahead. I can move around. I can decide where to go. Okay, let's click here.
The Polish military cemetery in Katyn is a place of special significance, a place of torment, burial, and commemoration of at least 4,415 Polish prisoners of war murdered in 1940 on the orders of the highest authorities of the Soviet Union.
See, this is something that a lot of people don't know, right? Is that at the beginning of World War II, Russia was with Germany. And then Germany decided to invade Russia, and Russia finally went into the good side. But they were never on the side of Poland. Poland were squeezed because Russia didn't like them, Germany didn't like them. So they were squeezed from both sides, right? And that's why there's so much resentment. And I mean, they basically committed, Russia was committing a genocide and executing the Poles, basically.
Poor.
The entrance to the cemetery grounds is marked out by two pillars, each bearing images of the Polish military eagle. This is a stylized version of the official crest of the Polish state, a symbolic emblem of the Polish soldier. The Polish military cemetery in the Katyn forest was opened during a ceremony held on the 28th of July 2000, thus not until 60 years following the atrocity itself. Indeed, the opening of the cemetery served as a turning point in the history of this place, one long concealed and enshrouded in the shadows of secrecy.
Took 60 years. It was such a secret. What happened?
Previously, in 1988, Cardinal Josef Glemp had requested permission from Moscow to put up a cross here with the inscription, "In this place, a cross is raised in memory of the death of Polish officers." Having been blessed and transported from Poland, it stood behind a monument with an inscription falsely stating that the Katyn massacre had been committed by the Germans.
It was saying originally that it's the Germans that did that. Because in 1988, he wanted the permission to put something there. But the Russian gave them permission, but probably said, like, you need to tell people that it's the German that did it if you want to have this.
Oh.
Even though it was a Russian that did it.
Oh.
Yes, because it was in 1940, yeah.
The structure and space of the cemetery invites us to participate in a rite of passage, a path along which are placed plaques symbolizing graves in memory of the victims, lead visitors to the death pits. The creators of the cemetery treated the entire grounds as a symbolic mass grave. Viewed from a distance, it seems to be a flat space. It is not until we are close that we notice that it has the shape of a burial mound surrounded by a wall.
Oh, whoa.
This wall constitutes a symbolic boundary between our world and the earth anointed with the blood of the victims. The burial mound is encircled by a ribbon of plaques paying homage to each of the victims by name.
Yeah.
1899.
Their arrangement into rows constitutes an allusion to the callous treatment of their bodies, having been cast into the death pits layer upon layer.
A dead pit. Basically, when you throw dead body all into a pit and you burn everyone in a pit. Or you just throw everyone into a big pit like you see in a movie and you just bury everyone.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Names. The plaque's inscriptions contain the victims' military rank, date, and place of birth, as well as their occupations before being called up for service in the Polish army in August 1939.
Wow.
The rusty red hue which runs through the grounds of the cemetery is the color of dried blood. It is also the color of the rust found on the buttons of uniforms uncovered during the exhumation of the mass graves. 4 upright cast iron plates display the symbols of Catholicism and Protestantism, Orthodox Christianity.
Isn't this for the Muslim on the right? And the Israel star? And Catholic? Oh.
Christianity, Judaism, and Islam.
Yeah.
Buried in the earth of Katyn are members of each of these religious affiliations.
Wow.
With a decree issued on the 11th of November 1976, Stanisław Ostrowski, the president of the Polish government in exile, collectively decorated the Polish soldiers murdered at Katyn and other execution sites with the September Campaign Cross and the Virtuti Militari, Poland's highest military decoration. During this time, the communist authorities in Poland persecuted and oppressed all those who dared speak the truth about Katyn.
The Polish Communist Party and everyone, the authorities, you could not speak about what happened. So they had that cemetery, which they were only telling the story that the Russian wanted them to tell, and you could not talk about the truth. That's why even to this day, how do you expect foreigners to know about it when the Polish people didn't even know about it? Because it was hidden, until Russia fell in 1990, 89. So
the flat rectangular graves do not protrude above the surface of the ground. This symbolizes over half a century of silence which had passed before acknowledging the Katyn massacre. They only become visible between the mounds of the burial site itself. They are marked out by strips of rust-colored metal. In 1943, the German army occupying this area at the time discovered mass graves in the Katyn forest. Following the carrying out of an exhumation, the technical committee of the Polish Red Cross moved the corpses taken from the death pits to this location, thereby creating a provisional cemetery. Within the boundaries of the cemetery, 6 kindred mass graves remain. Within them lie the remains of Polish prisoners of war murdered between April and May 1940.
Oh.
The Germans used the Katyn affair in their propaganda war. In pointing out the high-ranking officers among the victims, they emphasized the bestial nature of the atrocity. Therefore, the bodies of two generals, namely Bronisław Bohaterewicz and Mieczysław Smorawiński, whose remains were able to be identified at that time, lie in separate graves. However, the exact whereabouts of the bodies of the two remaining generals, namely Major General Henryk Minkiewicz and Rear Admiral of the Polish Navy Ksawery Czerenicki, remains unknown, since they were not identified in 1943. Therefore, they lie in the kindred mass graves. The central point of the cemetery is the Gate of Remembrance. Both its mass and might allude to the Holy Sepulchre and the rock moved from its entrance on the day of the Christ's resurrection by the power of hope and faith in justice, as well as the eventual revealing of the truth.
Finally.
On the cast iron surface of the gate are written the names of the victims imprinted as if having been typed. This is a symbol of the mechanical manner in which the massacre was carried out, like the mechanical tapping out on a typewriter of the names of the Polish prisoners of war sentenced to death.
Yeah, see, when you type to a machine, right? You type like this and it looks like this when you type on the paper, like some kind of robotic letter. They tried to like reproduce that in a way, so that you can feel like what it was, because they were all sent to die, basically. They were like, oh, you're sentenced to die, to death, you know, and they all executed all of them. And look at how many people.
The cast iron cross, the symbol of the resurrection, commemorates the suffering of the victims and allows visitors to honor their memory. The altar, stele, and sacrificial rock are symbols related to religious rituals in honor of the dead. They serve to allow services according to various religious rites to take place. A bell is incorporated into the structure of the gate.
A bell.
The muffled sound represents the voice of truth emerging from underground. The surface of the bell has been inscribed with the text of Poland's oldest hymn, Bogorodzica, as well as the name of the bell itself, Katyn. The death pits are the location in which the Germans discovered the bodies of Polish officers in the forest in 1943.
Man, a dead pit. Essentially a hole that a big hole that they make, and all the body are there, and the German found all the body.
They have been marked out like stains on the forest landscape. 7 pits are to be found in the Polish cemetery. It was from here that the bodies of the victims were exhumed and transferred to the kindred mass graves. Beyond the boundaries of the Polish military cemetery lies pit number 8.
Pit number 8.
Discovered during the exhumation of 1943, it hid the bodies of Polish POWs murdered by the NKVD.
Prisoner of war.
However, the bodies of these Polish officers are no longer there. It is not known what happened to them. Was the pit emptied by the Soviets during the work of the so-called Borodenko Commission, and the bodies placed in one of the kindred mass graves?
Jesus.
Were they transported to Moscow? Or perhaps they still lie undiscovered in the Katyn forest.
You know that when you're a prisoner of war, you don't pose any threat. That means that you're already a prisoner. It's not like you're trying to kill the Russian or the German. You're already a prisoner. You're not doing anything. You're just a prisoner, you know?
Things like that should not happen again. Even sometimes it happening somewhere in the world. But people still have a reason to say like, it's not the same like before, but it's still the same. Racism still going on. A lot of things still going on. People still think they are the best and the other people are still a slave. Things still happening in this world, but they are just putting face that say that they care about humanity, but it's just a word. It's not even real.
You're right. History is repeating itself. Look at what the US is doing in Iran right now, or what's happening in Gaza. It's history repeating itself all over again. And I'm sure that during the Second World War, they had the reasoning to do it, right? They had some reason. And they have reason right now in 2026. And in 50 years, we're going to look at what's happening in the world right now. And we're going to say, oh, they were mass murdering people in 2026. We're not going to do that in 2062, right? But in 2062, they're going to do it again. But they're going to say, but this time we have a good reason to do it. So you're right. It's history repeating himself, and people that try to make themselves look good by finding some kind of weird argument for why they're the good guy now. So you're right. Yes. So thank you for the amazing suggestion. If there's more that we should react to, please let us know in the comment below. Yes.